Hi, guys. Good afternoon on Friday the 13th, 2026, March. A lot of people are afraid of Friday the 13th, aren't they? It's generally considered as bad luck. One of the reasons being, so it is told, is that witches' covens generally have 13 witches, so 12 witches and one high priestess. That is possibly one of the reasons why people are afraid of Friday the 13th. My chair started squeaking. So if you hear some squeaks, it's my chair, it's not a mouse. I just want to welcome all the new subscribers to the channel. Thank you. Thank you for subbing to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Just a few bits of housekeeping before I start. If you are watching, give us a like or a dislike, it's up to you. With the chat, sorry, my table's very bouncy today. Yeah. If you would like to chat, you are welcome to do so. You will need to subscribe to the channel first and wait a minute and then you'll be able to chat. However, I do not tolerate trolls. I've got some excellent mods who are very, very used to dealing with trolls. Now, I know that some of you have come over from Dino, and I do apologise to Dino for getting his name wrong. I do apologise. You know, it's spelt with an I. Normally, EA is how you would spell Dino. Anyway, phonetics. Yeah. In the chat, if you do have a question for me, if you at the Witchy Goth to me, it will highlight it for me and I will answer it to the best of my ability. As I said, we have got some new people in the chat and possibly going to ask me some questions that, may be difficult. Please make sure that you are polite and don't use any patronizing words or any swear words or, let's be polite to each other. We need to have some decent discourse and, discussion and debate about the things that are going on in the world, because there's a lot of shit going on in the world, to be honest. I mean, God, you just have to look at the newspapers. I'm going to have a look through the chat. Just a reminder of today. God, there's so much going on, isn't there? So after me at 3 p.m. is Regan Elite. It's his 3rd year channel anniversary. So I will try and pop you all over to his channel after I've streamed. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's put it that way. I'm not very good with technology, as you all know. So I shall try and pop you all over. If not, I know that some of my mods have put the links into the chat for his channel. After Regan Elite at 5 p.m, there is Daily Blase, absolutely wonderful Darren, who does the most hilarious show on a Friday afternoon. Well worth subscribing to both of the channels and checking that out. Then later on, there is, who else is there? We have got Aid Thompson, Maximilian Roverspear, and then Graham Hughes with Politics Social, Friday Social, I think it is, at about 9:30. So loads of stuff going on Friday. Just absolutely, this week has been busy, busy, busy. So let me just say hello to some of the people in the chat. Hi, Elle, you were first again. Sparkle Farts says hello. Hi, Billy, lovely to see you. Yeah, it is Big Friday. There's loads of stuff that I'm talking about today, so hopefully you will, I'll get through it all. I'm not doing a show on Sunday evening because I shall be driving back from Liverpool from visiting my mum. For Mother's Day. So don't forget, it is Mother's Day on Sunday. And I believe that all mothers should celebrate, whether you are a mother of children who are, you know, physically born into your life, or you are a mother who has spirit children from, you know, untimely leaving of the planet or miscarriage, or those who've got furry, feathered reptilian children as well. I think we should all remember that we are all mothers of something. Those of the feminine persuasion, and yes, that includes trans women. Emald the Saxon, lovely to see you from Dino Bain. Hopefully I won't be talking a load of cobblers in this video. Hopefully I won't be talking a load of cobblers, although cobblers do come up quite a lot, you know. It's What the Fuck Friday. So I talk about lots of stuff that is what the fuck, like what the fuck is going on. Also, I've not had any lunch yet. I only just got back from my run an hour ago, and I've had to get everything ready for the show. Complan, crackers, apple. For those who don't know, I have a complex hiatus hernia, so half of my stomach is sitting up above my diaphragm, which means that I can't eat a huge amount of food, and stuff affects my stomach. If it gets stuck in my diaphragm, my stomach goes into spasm, and it is incredibly painful, and sometimes I have to go to hospital to have the food sucked out of the hernia. So, yeah. Chrissy, lovely to see you. Chrissy is my producer. Thank you, Mr. Producer, for being here. Gallifreyan Wren, lovely to see you. What are you cooking today? Recently, it feels like every day has been a slog to stay on top of things, Friday or otherwise. Absolutely agree with you. This week has been busy. Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury messes with all communications. Mercury just messes with everything. Let's have a look, guys. I'm scrolling down here, and you know how it jumps, so I will try and respond to everybody. Chris C, it's going well at the moment. Had a phone call with the GP this morning. They are happy with my blood test results, so have taken me off of the diabetes meds for 3 months and then repeat bloods. Brilliant. Brilliant. I take it was diabetes too. You can definitely fix that with diet, so that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And like Gallifreyan Wren says there, fingers crossed for you. Alex and Draka, hi, lovely to see you. Hope you're both doing well. Said hello to Elle. Reagan Elite's link there in the chat. Aldu, Draka, Angework, hello. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Hi, Alistair, lovely to see you. Thank you for being in chat. Who have I missed? Have I missed anybody? Chrissy, I would be concerned if the squeaking was coming from a mouse with your cats in the house. I would be asking serious questions of the cats. Do you know, Chris, they bring them in and play with them. And sometimes I'm able to catch them and set them free, but it's nature. It's what cats do. And mice are incontinent. They basically pretty much poo and wee all the time. And the reason why I got my first cat when I moved back to the UK was because I was living in a small cottage on a farm and I had mice. So I got my cat Bracken, who was a brilliant mouser. He was an ex-stray, got him from the RSPCA, loved him to pieces, but he had hypothyroidism, and unfortunately stuff happened and he had to go to sleep, which I still miss him every day. Even though I have 5 others, I still miss him. Liebshin, hello, good to see you. Completely forgot it was Friday the 13th and you're already getting buffering. If this channel, if today's stream does go into buffering, I will try and stream again. It's windy. I know cables are underground, but you know, here telephone lines are in the air, and it's just an absolute nightmare, my internet connection. I will be getting updated with new internet from a different provider in 2 weeks' time, so hopefully the buffering should stop. So yeah, let's hope that that will stop and hopefully won't be cut off mid-sentence and go to, because it always stops when you're pulling a face, and I pull lots of faces. Hi, Darren, lovely to see you. We are very, very well. I managed to get in a 5K run this morning, so was pleased with that. Couldn't run yesterday, stomach problems. But it's very windy out there, so it did slow me down a bit. And with all the rain that we had yesterday and last night, very muddy again up in the woods, but it was nice to be out. Although I had to dodge the branches that were falling from the trees because as I was running, I could hear them breaking off. So it was like an obstacle course today in the woods, jumping over all the fallen branches and stuff. It's going to be a long stint for you today. Thank goodness you're not modding this live. Sadly, the rest you are, but you do have other mods as well, Alistair. So yeah. Chrissy, which Goth? Yes, it is type 2, but the GP thinks it's not caused by lifestyle, but by autoimmune condition, which also screwed your iron levels as well. Absolutely, it can be caused by that. So yeah, definitely. But it's good that you've got the the levels set. Mithril, hello, lovely to see you. Some good news. My blood test for DVT, cellulitis, and other things came back completely clear too. That is brilliant. Fantastic news. Fantastic news. L's not had buffering. Right. I don't think I've missed anybody. If I have, I do apologize. Chrissy, still waiting for deliveries. Oh, Chrissy, pop a link to your website, please, as well, for anybody who has pets. Chrissy makes fabulous, fabulous pet wear, and, small businesses, let's support them. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Looking after each other. So I love it when I see love hearts going up. But we have to share. We have to, we're all trying to make a living, aren't we? So it's really important that we do support each other and rather buy from small businesses than from Amazon, while making the rich richer and the poor poorer. Funny, as we get older, we all become more fascinated by health. Absolutely. Yeah, as you guys know, just for some of the new subscribers to the channel, just give you a bit of background of myself in case you've not read the description. I am a witch. I am a pagan. I am a goth, but I also listen to heavy metal and various other genres of music. I play guitar. I used to sing in a band. I read tarot cards. I read crystals. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a yoga instructor. I'm a photographer. I'm a writer. What have I missed? I'm completely bonkers. I'm a crazy cat lady, a loony lefty, very, very woke, woker than woke. Oh, and I crochet as well. Not very well, but I do enjoy it. And I paint and I draw and I do all sorts of stuff. So, yeah. And I am willing to have, discourse, debate with people who are opposite in politics to me, as long as it's polite and not, detract, speaking about the actual topic rather than whataboutism or, insulting people. This is just not necessary, is it? Anyone else being put on the new weight loss drug? Should be interesting to see how long it takes before I see results. Liebshin, which one is that? Is that Ozempic? Because I want to go to my doctor and see if they will put me on it. I've got a hospital appointment on the 2nd of April for my stomach at hospital. And I know they're going to say, because I gained weight again the last few months, changing my medication, and it just, and stress. And because, I'm also studying psychology, but I had to defer at the end of last year due to so much shit that was going on in my life. I've actually got that up and ready to go. I actually wanted to put all of these links onto today's description box. as usual, haven't had a chance because I've got quite a few things that I want to talk about. So yeah, Liebchen, let us know how it goes. Let me know which drug it is. I'd be very interested to know the side effects of it as well. I did try and go onto Juniper, but they said because of the medication that I take wouldn't work. I was taking, it begins with an O, but it's not Ozempic, it's something else. Can't remember the name now, but that just didn't work because I have no gallbladder either. I had that removed, and any fat that I eat just pretty much goes straight through me. And what that drug did, Orlistat, that's it, Orlistat. What that drug did was basically just remove the fat in your food. Whereas the vast majority of fat that we lose in our bodies is lost through our breath. I know that sounds weird, but it's a scientific fact. And oh yeah, and I'm a minister, an ordained minister. I do perform hand fastings, naming ceremonies, and funeral rites. Yeah, belly dancer, runner, lots of different things that I do. I enjoy doing lots of different stuff. I challenge myself. So yeah, I'm aiming with my psychology degree to go to my doctorate. I want to get into the research side of things. I am very interested in the dark triad, which is the most interesting side of psychology besides going into criminal forensic psychology. But it's basically looking at narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopaths. So yeah, looking at people like serial killers. Liebchen, I started off on this one called Trulicity, but they are moving me over to Manjaro, which is stronger for weight loss. Let us know how that goes. Breaking news, husband who used a sharp, pointy object on his estranged wife before burying her body in a makeshift grave in the garden is jailed for 26 years. That's brilliant. Is that an English one, Chris C? It might be on my list of stuff that I've got to do videos on. So yeah. Do you do any of the harness in extra small? Oh, for Chris C. Okay. Hi, David. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining. Chris C put the news down. No, Chris C knows what news I like to see, and that is stuff that I try and cover in my videos. That is the main focus of my channel, is covering well, I'm a feminist, so it's covering abuse against women, feminicide, grape, SV, SA, and DV. But I also do discuss the manosphere and various other areas as well that I enjoy talking about. And then, so Monday nights, I live stream with my, oh yeah, and witchy stuff, David, absolutely witchy stuff. The witchy and the weird, and aliens, and crystals, and Ouija boards, and movies, and music, and books, and oh my God, yeah, I like to talk about. Am I a Trekkie? No, I'm Star Wars. I'm afraid, always been Star Wars. Sorry, I did enjoy the old Star Trek with William Shatner. I did enjoy that when I was a kid growing up, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's a serious subject, but I have to fight the urge to giggle whenever I hear grape. Just picture a loon showing grape clusters at people. I know I have to use that word because YouTube doesn't like the R word, and it doesn't like the A word being A BUSE, and there are other words, you know, unaliving, and you'll notice in some of my videos I do slip up and use those words. It's very annoying. Hi Kirsty, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Star Wars is good. I went to see the original back in 1977 when I was 5 years old. Yeah, I was 8. I was 8 in 77. My dad took me and my sister. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant to see that. Let's have a look. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to. I like Star Wars and Star Trek. Does that make me sci-fi? I love that. That's a nice new term. Doesn't like a bus. Fair enough. The buses around here are awful. Okay. Luckily, I've got a decent bus service, but I don't really use the buses because I don't do people. Who have I missed? Who have I missed? Who have I missed? 2001 Space Odyssey, still brilliant today. Absolute. Am I a Whovian? Yes. I love Doctor Who. Who was my favourite? David Tennant. I know when I moved back to the UK, he was the Doctor Who because we didn't get Doctor Who in South Africa. So I missed out. The last Doctor Who I saw was Tom Baker when I was a kid. And so when I moved back here, it was David Tennant, and I absolutely loved him. I have watched, what's his name? The guy that was before David Tennant. Can't remember his name now. Christopher somebody. Yes, he was good. He was good as well. Liebchen, Tom Baker was my doctor. I think we're about the same age, Liebchen. Moon is overlooked. It is. Christopher Eccleston. Thank you, Liebchen. Thank you. Do I remember the very first British TV broadcast on SA television after apartheid? David, I don't. I don't remember what it was. I know we had Dallas. That was during apartheid, and a lot of Die Man van Staal, $6 Million Man, was dubbed into I think it was dubbed into Afrikaans. It was so funny. It was so funny. Your first Doctor Who was Tom Baker, John Pertwee. Oh my God, Pertwee was the Doctor when I was younger. You see, my favourite Doctor Who's in order are Matt Smith, David Tennant, Peter Capell, and Chris Eccleston. Peter Capelli, yeah, he was good as well. I did like Matt Smith. I did because I liked the Ginge. What was her name? I can't think of her character's name. I did like her. Colin Baker was the best. Sorry, my taste chip is malfunctioning. That's okay, Elle. I'll give you a Amy Pond. That's it. Thank you, Chris C. Yeah, I'll give you a permission slip for that, Elle. It's okay. Don't worry. Right. So let's get on with some serious stuff. Now, I have a very good friend. She is a pagan author. She's a witch. Her name is Barbara Mickle-John-Free, and she has been very ill for the past couple of years. She has had a stroke. She has had bladder cancer. She has gone through Capaldi. That's it, Liebchen. It's Capaldi, yes. Donna Noble too. Absolutely, Alex. Yes, she was brilliant. Dr. Donna. Sorry, sidetracked here because we need to send a little bit of thought, prayer, healing, whatever you want to do to Barbara Mickle-John-Free. She is being released from hospital today. She's had so many things go wrong, and she is such a wonderful, wonderful witch and pagan. For anybody who doesn't know, she lives in Buxton. She has a shop there. She works with, and the lady's name has just gone out of my head and I can see her. I'll remember her name in a minute. Maybe Draka or Alex knows. And she is just amazing. She's done so much for the pagan community. So I am sending a little bit of healing energy to her today. So this is where the witchiness comes in. Some people think I'm a bit mad, but that's okay. I am certified mad. Absolutely. I do have several health conditions and a couple mental health conditions, which is why I'm studying psychology. May the powers of the One, the source of all creation, all pervasive, omnipotent, eternal, may the goddess, the lady of the moon, and the god-horned hunter of the sun, may the powers of the spirits of the stones, rulers of the elemental realms, may the powers of the stars above and earth below, bless this place and this time, and we who are with you. Ancient Goddess Brigade, I call on you and ask for your healing energy to be sent to the wonderful Barbara Mickle-John-Free. Okay. K9 was brilliant. Yes, K9 was brilliant. Chrissy, Brits in Dubai warned by embassy not to take or share photos of war damage in the UAE as tourist faces 2 years in jail for filming Iranian missiles. Yeah, I did see that this morning. That was really funny. That was really, really funny. It really was funny. Ace is my favourite companion. Don't remember Ace, so that's probably before my time. Right. So where's my list? Where's my list? I sat here typing everything out. So Jess Phillips read out all of the names of all of the women who were unalived or suffered femicide. And she read that out in Parliament this week. And while I think Labour are a bunch of idiots at the moment, I do think that Jess Phillips has done more for women who have suffered through DV, SA, SV, and grape. And yes, I know there were issues around the grape gangs, and it's very unfortunate. Not here to talk about that, though. I want to play the speech, and I want us to take a minute to remember all of those women who were victims over the past year. Which you look like you've lost a lot of weight. I actually lost 35 kilos, and I've got another 30 to go to get to my weight where I shall be able to run at my fastest speed, because my speed at the moment is incredibly slow. It's too slow. I'm not happy with it. And I'm suffering a lot of knee and issues. 35, yep, Gallifreyan Wren 35. If you have a look at my early videos, you will see in my face, I was like a blob. I was a blob. Wish I could run to get rid of my diabetes. Walking. David, walking. That's how I started, walking. I could barely stand up. I had to use a stick to get out of a chair. That is how unfit I was. And I used to teach yoga. And I can still touch my toes. That'll never go away. But yeah, things happen. I've got COPD, that's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I have got chronic kidney disease, and obviously the hernia. I've got a herniated disc on my lower back. I've got spondylitis in my neck in C5 and C6 from years of headbanging, as well as various other physical illnesses. But I just get on with it, you know. So like 3-4 years ago, I said to myself, right, I'm going to take control of my health now. I had a miscarriage, and the medication that I'm on, and that's when I started gaining weight. Psychologically, that really, really broke me, because I was so, yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't to be. I wasn't meant to have children. And as soon as I had the miscarriage, I went into menopause. Which of the monsters from Doctor Who is... Yes, the Weeping Angels. Those are my terrifying, absolutely terrifying. When I used to live across the road from the Priory in Worksop, and there's an angel, a couple of angels there, and I wouldn't go near them. Wouldn't go near them. There's only one blob, and for some reason, it's President of America. Yeah, Mithril, no worries. I named my company after my neighbour's blue staffy, Bonnie, who I used to look after because of some shit stirring and friendship soured. Oh, bless. Bless. So, yeah. Gallifreyan Wren. It's hard. I'm a chocolate addict. I have a very, very sweet tooth. But I know that I need to curtail that habit. And so right now, money's tight, so I can't afford to buy chocolate. I have bought a box of Black Magic for my mummy, though, for Mother's Day. So I'm just going to put a link up to my Buy Me a Coffee because I didn't have a chance earlier on. Bear with me, guys. I'll pop that up. And if you would like to support me and the channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. It looks like I shall soon be, hopefully, able to monetize the channel. So it means no more swearing. It means no more swearing. Bear with me, guys. Sorry, guys, typing away. Let's paste that. And I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat as well. So if you would like to support me, you are more than welcome to. But the best support you can give me at the moment is to click like on this stream, subscribe to the channel, and share in your socials. Code to or chocolate. My favorite is Lindor. I love Lindor. I just gave up eating well when my heart was diagnosed. As soon as I realized I would actually live, I sorted myself out and started teaching myself to cook. Well, Gallifrey and Wren, I mean, your recipes always sound amazing. So yeah. Liebchen, I lost my mum to COPD. It was heartbreaking to see her slowly suffocate to death, which makes me doubt whether any God exists to allow such things to happen. As you know, I'm not a Christian. I am pagan. I do believe in the gods and goddesses, but I don't see them as the beings that people see them as. So yeah, I'll talk more about that on Witchy Wednesdays because that's a very, very in-depth topic that I'd like to go into. But I'm very sorry that you lost your mum like that. That's another reason why I started running. I'm lucky that my oxygen level is generally sitting around 98, 99. But again, that's years of long distance swimming, yoga, breath work, and the running helps as well. So yeah, and I just decided that I've got to, we don't get younger. When I think, I'm 57 next month, 25th of April, just so you will remember it's my birthday next month. And I actually feel quite honoured to be turning 57. The fact that I will have gone around the sun 57 times is, I never thought that I would. I always thought I'd be a member of the 27 club. So I think it's quite an honour to get to that age. My mum turns 88 this year. Who was a clown I upset the other day? Blah, blah. Oh, many. Thank you for joining, blah, blah. Lovely to see you. I still haven't set up the microphone. It will be done next week. Definitely 100%. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about. Full English in the morning will be my downfall. Staffordshire oatcake instead of fried bread, though. Good for you. Yeah, I don't do oily, greasy food. I cook my food like I would have a poached egg. I would grill my bacon and cut all the fat off. But I could only eat like a poached egg, one slice of toast, and 2 rashers of bacon because my stomach, obviously, most of it's in my chest. I'll go when I go. It may be a bit noisy, though. Well, I've told my sister and that, because I'll probably end up going before her, she's much healthier than me, that I want a massive party for my funeral. I want people to wear whatever they like and music to be played. And I want my ashes scattering at Thornborough Henge. My Pagan home. So much wonderful energy up there. For those who don't know, Thornborough Henge is in North Yorkshire, between, well, it's close to Ripon, Masham, West Tanfield and Thirsk. So it's very little known henge complex. There are 3 henges. The main henge is huge. And then there's a southern henge and a northern henge. The northern henge is wooded, the southern henge is open. There are no standing stones there, but the henge itself is the actual embankments. And it is way older than Stonehenge, and it is a wonderful place to visit. If anybody's interested in camping there, they do have the camp over the Beltane weekend and over the Mabon weekend. That's the autumn equinox. You can find all about it, Beltane at Thornborough Henge or Mabon at Thornborough Henge, on Facebook. We do camp over the weekends, and there are loads of traders and the ritual that happens. It's absolutely brilliant to go. Unfortunately, I will be going to the Silver Forest for Beltane this year, and because there's a lady who I will be working with there, and but I will be at Mabon. I will be at Mabon. Have to say hello to all my mates there. My mum's philosophy was, when I go, dump me in the ditch and get to the drinking. I said to my mum, just chuck me on the fire. I don't care. Just throw me on the fire. I don't need any fancy set. But like you say, yeah, let the drinking and dancing and revel, you know, everybody revel in their own fun. Should not be somber occasions. I feel people should celebrate lives that have passed with joyful parties. Agree with you. I prefer Longmeg, nearish to Keswick. I've actually never been to the Lake District. It is on my bucket list. Who called you a hoe? Blah, blah. I hope I didn't. Sorry. I'm donating my body to science. Let them deal with the mess. Love it. Okay, let's get to Jess Phillips and the naming of all of the those that were unalived over the past year. There may be adverts, guys, and for some reason it's now advertising tenner pants to me. So the last couple of days it's been broadband, because I was searching for new broadband providers. Now I've not been searching for tenner pants.
Jess Phillips.
Let me know if you can hear okay, guys.
Deputy Speaker, I'm going to start my comments by first saying that thank you to the Minister for Equalities for securing this debate in government time. I think in the time that I've been in the House, this is only the second time that has ever happened. I'm incredibly proud to stand alongside her. I also want to say thank you to the opposition spokeswoman for the tone in that was set throughout this debate, and to everybody else who has followed that tone. I have to say that I have felt tearful at lots of points. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's almost certainly something that the member for Hampstead and Highgate's mother would not be pleased for me to say. It is either both hope or anger, or just that I have my period, that makes me feel both tired and hopeful and angry in equal measure to the member for Ramadan. If I get through this without crying, it will be a miracle.
I just want to say thank you, Mithril. That's really, really kind of you. I may take you up on that. I may well take you up on that, but I would have to bring Thorn with me because he's diabetic and he needs his injections twice a day at specific times. So, you know, I can always bring my tent, though. It's a relatively big tent, but, you know, I can always bring my tent. Right. I'm going to press play again.
I just really want to say a massive thank you. Also, as others have done, I had assumed actually, because sometimes I don't pay much attention, that this debate had actually been called by the member for Brent East, who does that service so well every year through the Backbench Business Committee, but it in fact was the government's doing, and I thank her for her comments and agree that she would be, and I hope that she is a challenge to whoever she stands opposite. And of course to the member for Gorton and Denton, who made her maiden speech. When I made my maiden speech, I commented on what a sexist thing it was for it to be called a maiden speech.
Thank you, Mithril. Bless you. How do, Sir Larry? Lovely to see you. Thank you so much. What troll is this? Have I missed a troll? Thank you for putting up the link to Sir Larry the Cat. I still need to go and check out your latest video, Sir Larry. I'm so sorry. I have been so busy with my channel and life and running because I've got a race next month. So yeah. So yeah. I'm going to skip because she's waffling on a bit. I was going to play Hannah Spencer's maiden speech, but DB, Daily Blase, did a brilliant video of it. So, okay, one on here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah. DB did a brilliant video on it. If one of you mods can put a link to DB's video of that, that would be great. I absolutely love her. I think she's brilliant. I really do. And yeah, we need more people like her in Parliament. Most definitely need more Hannah Spencers in Parliament.
And that I wasn't a maiden because my children were in the gallery. So true to form, talking about my period and my lack of virginity, I shall continue. It was an absolute pleasure to listen to her. I shall put aside my Birmingham versus Manchester rivalry and say that she is very welcome here, and she and across this house. As I'm definitely not going to repeat what I said to her when I first introduced myself to her, but it was a long. You can paraphrase it without it being sweary. That there are lots of lovely people here, regardless of which.
Both, Larry. Sir Larry. I've not had a chance to watch either of them. Oh, I love Jo Brand. She's brilliant. Blah, blah. It's most like it's in the name House of Commons. When did it get so filled with toffs? It always was. It always was. That's the sad part about it. It was always filled with toffs. It's only in the last few years that it's been sort of filled with people that are not always toffs. Oh, I didn't realize that Graham was streaming now. So if those of you want to go and watch Graham, please pop over and tell Graham I say hello. Hope, Kirsty. Hope, not hate. Absolutely. Right, let's go back to Jess, because I've got something really that I want to discuss afterwards. Actually, I've got loads of things, but I'm looking at the time and thinking, bloody hell, where has this hour gone?
Political parties people come from, and that when we work together, we are always strongest. I wish that I could go through everybody's statements, but I do just want to highlight the member for Penistone and Stocksbridge, a woman who I work very, very closely with, and gave me campaigns that we had worked on together, gave me cause to cry earlier in the week. The only thing that I would say is that she ruined Bridgerton for me, because I've only seen the first episode, and so for that I am without fanfare and acclaim, support families and contribute that we have far to come. To the women of specifically, and there are many countries in the world I could highlight, but many members have highlighted the women of Afghanistan and Iranian women have featured very heavily in this debate.
As you know, my thoughts on the women who are being oppressed in the Middle East and many other countries around the world. There will be some women in those countries who are happy being, wearing the burqa, wearing the hijab, and so on. That is their choice. And I believe that we should all have choice of what we wear and how we present ourselves, our religions, our beliefs. I think it's quite important that we are allowed our individuality, whether that is having, it's not pink, it's red. It used to be pink. I did used to have actually full head of pink hair, but this is red. Or whether we are, an old lady sitting in an armchair in a nursing home. We should all have the ability to have our independence and be the people that we want to be. I don't believe that we should fit into neat little boxes. When I went to school in it's the apple. When I went to school in South Africa, and David will probably, remember this as well. It was so strict, so strict. It was regimental, and I hated it. And so I remember we had a civvies day. We could go dressed in our normal clothes. So of course I went full goth. And at that time in my life, I had short black spiky hair with like sort of things that came down here, and it was all spiky and fringe like that. I'm a trad goth, traditional goth. And so I wore a white shirt, my studded belts. I had a coat that was a 1960s coat, and it was all like embroidered with silver, and had a big brooch on it, and black tight trousers and my boots. And there was a photographer there from the Benoni City Times, because I lived in Benoni, which is where Charlize Theron grew up. We didn't go to the same school. She went to Benoni High, I went to Wordsworth High. And there was it's on the Civvies Day, it was a sports day. And they had the newspaper, I think from Benoni City Times, was there with the camera. And as she saw me walking out onto the field in the gang of the weirdos and the freaks, she came flying over, and the deputy headmistress had to come running. No, don't take photos of her. Don't take photos of her. Oh my God. Yeah. Was that regimental or what? Witchy, did you have to do Army Cadets too? Every Friday, 2 hours of marching on the field. Yes, we did. We did. Yeah. Never got to use the weapons though, but when I lived there, I did actually have my own, because I used to do a lot of traveling for the work that I was doing at the time. Hi, who's popping? Lovely to see you. And I've got it on bloody Top Chat again instead of on live chat. I do this every bloody time. So I've missed loads of messages, and I do apologise. Bad Loss still moaning. Jess is great. However, her stance on PR annoys me. We need proportional representation. I absolutely agree with that. We do need proportional representation. Sack the producer. 30-year anniversary of the Dunblane massacre this month. Okay, that's something else that we need to, take into consideration. The bill to remove hereditary peers from the House of Lords has passed. Brilliant. That's excellent news. Yep, don't forget, thank you, Reagan Elite's 3-year anniversary show at 3 p.m. I will be stopping at 3 p.m. because I'm going to be watching. Well, I'm going to have his show playing while I do the stuff that I need to do. Froggage said something about Dunblane. Well, there's a first. What? I'm not sacking you, Chris. Don't worry. You will never be sacked. Never be sacked. Let's get back to Jess. Sorry, guys.
I am the sister-in-law of a beautiful and now departed Iranian woman who died of breast cancer, but made her home in our country because her country was not safe for her. The bravery of the women who stand up to be counted in Afghanistan and Iran currently should move every single one of us. When we don't want to come here on a Monday morning, imagine the privilege to be able to stand and speak out in this place. And now the reason I stand, the reason I stood to be elected to Parliament in the first place is that while we are gathered here in the heart of our democracy to discuss these issues in comfort and in safety, beyond these walls in every part of our country, women and girls are suffering. They are being attacked, abused, harassed, and stalked. At home, in public places, and online, the scale of violence against women and girls shames our society.
It does. We live in a rich country. We live in a country that has so much education, and yet we have so much SA, SV, DV, and grape, and femicide. And I'm all for education of boys and girls around misogyny and misogynistic behaviours. I don't know if any of you have seen Louis Theroux's documentary on the Manosphere, Inside the Manosphere on Netflix. I watched it, absolutely brilliant. As you know, I do a lot of stuff on Andrew Tate. I've done quite a few videos on him. I need to actually update and do a new one, but time has been so just, the older you get, the quicker time goes. And yeah, it's very interesting and worth watching. And I will be doing a video on it at some stage, but if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It really is good. A lot of people perhaps will be shocked by some of the stuff there. I've already watched Fresh and Fit, that's Myron Gaines, HS Tiki Toki. He gets told off by his mummy, which is so funny. And they are they try to embarrass Louis Theroux, but the stuff that they've come out with in it, they've really, really embarrassed themselves, the Manosphere guys. Sneako's in it. Yeah, Andrew Tate refused to do it, and I don't blame him. Lawrence of Dry Labia, absolutely. Oh my God, Kirsty, have you seen that video of him shooting? Do it because he went dashing off to Dubai because he wanted to be on the front line. You know, he's probably there was a footage of him doing training, and I thought to myself, I wonder if he's ever, you know, actually had proper training, because his stance, he was like that with the gun. Like, no, you need to be like that, you know, just, yeah. And he was wearing those loafers and his tight trousers and being typical, yeah, typical Tate. The term sacked comes from losing your job and bagging up their tools in a sack. However, fired is losing job by means of doing something bad like stealing, then they would set fire to the tools. Interesting. He got his tight pants on. He did, Kirsty. He did his tight pants. Absolutely ridiculous. And also there's footage of him having a right moan. If you go to Gadget, I don't know if any of you follow Gadget, if one of my mods could put up a link to Gadget's channel. He's Australian and he has done so much work into Andrew Tate. In fact, Andrew Tate is now trying to sue him and a few other people who have looked into the whole case. So yeah, it's well worth following Gadget. He really does some good stuff. And of course, who's the other guy? I can't remember his bloody name now. The ginge that looks a lot like the guy from CSI. Yeah, he was in it. Elephant Graveyard's video on Joe Rogan's death cult. He's actually changed quite a few things recently, but I don't think he'll ever really step out of the manosphere. Somebody did ask me a question. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back up because I did see it. I didn't get to answer it though. Huggin, K9M, Huggin, one of the Ravens, Huggin and Munnin. Thoughts on David Lammy getting rid of trial by jury? Absolutely fucking stupid. We talked about this yesterday in yesterday's live stream, and it's just wrong. It's just completely wrong. I think it's one of the stupidest things. Very, 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 very angry about that, because I think that, you know, people should be tried by a jury of their peers for specific crimes. I know Chris C is the my producer, is the so knowledgeable on the different types of courts and law and so on. Absolutely brilliant. I'm sure he can put you in the right direction if you want to ask questions on the different courts, the different types of courts, the High Court, the Crown Court, and so on. And when judges make those decisions. But I think that you know, certain judges have certain biases and they're making the decisions. Yeah, they have to stick to the law. But I mean, if I was a judge, and I will say this, if I was a judge and I had a guy in front of me who had committed rape, and I would put them away for life. It's that simple. I would say, send him down. I'd love to say that, send him down. So yeah, I absolutely, yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Yes, I did see that. Oh, thank you for linking Gadget's channel, Chris C. Marin Gaines is furious with Louis Theroux for selectively editing footage in his hit piece. In reality, Louis just held up a mirror to him and he didn't like the reflection. I know he got very upset and his girlfriend left him after that. But what he said, you know, was like, yeah, I think that he proved. Her face when he said that was like, what am I doing? I'm looking into the removing of jury trials as it is concerning. Great, Chrissy. If you do come across a petition, let us know. We'll link it, we'll sign it, we'll share it. Also, if somebody can pop up the petition for the misogyny one as well, because we do need to make, as far as I'm concerned, we do need to make misogyny a crime. I assume Deaf is still too busy to get to it. Not sure what that is, but anyway, judges have to follow the sentencing guidelines, which are set by the Sentencing Council, which is managed by the Ministry of Justice. Thank you. I knew he'd have the answer, guys. I knew he'd have the answer. Absolutely brilliant. Let's go back to Jess, because I've got some other stuff I want to chat about.
And today's debate is not a moment for detailed policy talk, so I won't do that, but I will say that I am proud to be part of a government that is tackling this as if it is the national emergency that it is. And has been underscored by many people who have spoken about our commitment to halve violence against women and girls in a decade. But we know that words are not enough. Plenty has been promised and pledged in the past without results. And that is why our violence against women and girls strategy, published in December, had to be different. It has to deploy the full power of the state to deliver the change that is desperately needed. And I wanted to take this up, and actually it is just a piece of paper. It is just a document. And I have always said that when it needs to be stripped the last year, I want that is so desperately needed, because those women's names arduously every year. Carmenza Valencia. They are Angela Chetty, Joanne Penny, Michelle Egg Bailey, Meletta Rosevere, Carmenza Valencia Trujillo, Rachel Dixon, Claire Anderson, Parmajit Kaur, Claire Burns, Sarah Reynolds, Hein T. Vu, Rebecca Campbell, Pariah Lacey, Tracy Davies, Pamela Monroe, Amy Pike, Elizabeth Tamalor Adunzi, Nanena Chima, Catherine Perkins, Margaret McGowan, Ellen Cook, Rachel Vaughan, Marjama Osman, Yajaria Castro Mendez, Miriam MacDonald, Mary Green, Mandy Riley, Samantha Murphy, Isabella Knight, Christina Alexander, Annabelle Rook, Rianne Coulson, Nilani Nimalaraja, Irene Mabuga, Neela Patel, Sarah Montgomery, Angela Botham, Fortune Gomo, Phyllis Daly, Gwyneth Carter, Stephanie Blundell, Brenda Breed, Vanessa White and her children James and Sarah, Courtney Angus, Nikiru Chima, Kimberly Thompson, Shara Miller, Paris Kendall, Sophia Caton, Zawa Salah Mukhtar, Nuwahulaj Dona, Naroda Kalapni Nuwahuila, Cheryl Wilkins, Helena Hoysan, Tia Langdon, Nadata Bob, Lina Sang, June Bunyan, Michelle Thompson, Anne Green, Shelley Davis.
Told you they've been out, and guess what it's for?
That aren't designed for bad elites. Briefing Pure Protection.
Tenner. I don't need them. Sorry, guys.
Anjani Sindir, Catalina Burley, Cherise Bailey, Sonia Axelby, Agnes Druskines, Michelle Kennedy, Angela Sheelis, Stephanie Irons, Dicasey Nurse, Natalie Egan, Colleen Westerman,
110.
Fox,
110
Lane
women.
Williams, Lily Storinova,
110 women victims of femicide
Kay,
in 1 year.
Julie Wilson,
These women
Maria
were
Sakina,
unalived by their
Lisa Smith,
partners.
Janet Bowen, Samantha Lee, Lisa Marie Hopkins,
These are the ones that have
Gilly
been
Lively, Tanya Williams,
convicted.
Gloria De Lazare, Victoria Hart,
It is insane.
Lisa Denton,
It is an insane
Vanessa
number.
Poulton Chanda, Helen Rundle, Anam Rafay, Rita Rowley, Amal Raitan,
It is
Carla
disgusting,
Maria
Libshin.
Georgescu,
It is.
Helen
This is
Baird,
why we need to do something
Angela Clayton,
about this. It is.
Naomi MacGyver, Caroline
It's
Barakas,
terrorism against women.
Jennifer Simmons, Ellie Flanagan, two women in their 40s whose names
The
have
house
not
at the
yet
well
been
on this video
confirmed,
is pretty empty,
and
which
the
is
final
unfortunate
name on this
because
year's
I think they
list
should
is
be
a name,
forced.
and this always happens every single year, is there is always a name that has to be written on because it comes in as I'm walking in, to give you an idea of the regularity of this happening, and that is Carly Sen. The following women whose names have not been read out in previous years are Lat Parks, Delia McInerney, Lucy Harrison, Leila Zarju-Nagana, Judith Law, Jane Riddle, Dawn Kerr,
Kirsty,
Victoria
of
Adams, Simone Smith,
the men
and
that
Brigitte
were
Razzulli.
protesting at the
I'm
hotel, the
grateful
one that
to
they
the
tried to set
women
fire
of
to,
the femicide census,
if I remember correctly,
for making
45%
sure
of
that
them
the
had
previously
previous for
incomplete list, because the
DVSV,
information
SA
was
or
not
grape.
known, that those women can be remembered. I also want to take a moment to remember those who have died by suicide or in unexplained circumstances as a result of their abuses. We commit to do more so that their names are also not forgotten, and they outstrip the women on this list by some margin. We refuse to forget these women who all deserved so much more. I want to once again thank the Femicide Census for the tireless work that goes into collating these names.
I'm going to end that there, but yeah, of the 2,000 women aged 14 and above who were unalived in the UK since 2014, strangulation was used in 550, that's 27% of the unalivings. 372 were strangled by an intimate partner. Women are more likely to be raped, abused by their partner or somebody they know in the family. And pregnant women suffer the most. They are often unalived or abused at that time. And then the time that a woman in a kind of relationship, an abusive relationship, is most at danger is when she wants to leave, which is why places like Refuge exist, Women's Aid, and so on. You know, they will often suggest that women get a second phone that is, you know, a burner phone that they can keep in a hidden place and use it as and when that they start saving money, because a lot of these women will not have their own money. The partner will be incredibly abusive, narcissistic. They will coerce and control the woman. She will only be allowed to do certain things. And, you know, and especially those women in Iran and Afghanistan who are, you know, by the orthodoxy, fundamentalist Islamists, the way that they are treated. So don't forget that a lot of the women and men who do leave those countries leave because of the way that women are treated. So we do need to remember that. We do need to remember that people are not just fleeing from war or from them being gay or transsexual, or, you know, they are fleeing for many, many, many reasons. Thank you for putting up the numbers, blah, blah. Really appreciate it. I don't believe any man should lift a hand to a woman, but that's just the way I was brought up. My dad was an alcoholic abuser to my mum, and I vowed on it. I think, Nipshin, we come from the same time. We experienced that same time in our lives where that was the behavior of a vast amount of men at that time. Liebchen happily married 28 years this year. Congratulations. 1 in 5 unalivings in the UK are domestic abuse related. In the last 10 years, there were 898 women, girls unalived in a domestic setting. Of these, 698 were unalived by a partner or ex-partner. Yeah. Men unalive 1 woman every 3 days in the UK. And I would hate to think how many are unalived in, you know, the Middle East or in Africa or in, you know, countries where we don't actually have the full figures. When you look at countries like in Africa, where a lot of the population is not even listed on a census because they live out in what we would call in South Africa the bundus, you know, that they live out in the bush and in small villages. And are those women abused like that? It would be interesting to see. Actually, I was reading something that I will be doing a video on. Hopefully, I've got this list of videos to do about Native American women and how they were pretty much in charge of the tribes, which I thought was interesting. But thank you for putting up those numbers for refuge in England and in Wales and in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Refuge for men. Yes, there is a refuge for men. And I do acknowledge that men do also suffer that kind of abuse from women. And it shouldn't happen. It should not happen. The figures are different. They're lower, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That kind of abuse, spousal abuse, should not exist. I bet they all have Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson. Yeah, a lot of them do. A lot of them do follow that. Although it does tend to be the younger sort of generations that follow the manosphere stuff. I think a lot of people in the older generations won't have even heard of it, which is why I think Louis Theroux's video, the documentary, is really good for older people to see. My late dad was, I guess, your dad's generation. He would never raise his hand to women. He taught me well, I think. That's good, Mithril. For Christmas at our house, we had a woman knock on the door at 4 a.m. after being abused by her partner a while back. She stayed in our house till the police came and she got banged up for a few years. Right. Oh, he got banged up for a few years. Yeah. Unfortunately, they do not get long enough sentences, in my opinion, because they do go on to recommit these crimes. I saw the video that I released, I think it was yesterday, Liam Cowley. And, you know, he committed abuse against this woman, and then he went on, he ran away, he was wanted, he ran away to Norfolk and did exactly the same to another woman. And I think I talked about this as well on a live stream. And it's just, yeah, it's a sickness. It is a sickness. And I do think that porn has a huge amount to do with it, as well as patriarchal misogyny that is ingrained into society. It's institutionalized. And I talk about this a lot, that, you know, a lot of men don't realize that it is misogyny. And even some women say the same things. So it is an education on all sides. And I always say, yeah, it's not all men, but all men can be our allies and help us end this disgusting, horrific, you know, scourge on women. And this has been going on for centuries. This is not new. This is not new. It is now being brought to the fore, but it has been going on for centuries. Look at the burning times when the witches were either burned or drowned or hanged. You know, it just, yeah. Many men are afraid of women. Many men do not like women. It is many men believe that women are there for their enjoyment and their pleasure, and that's it. And it's a horrible thing to think about. But as I've said before, 1 in 4 women have been SA'd, SV'd, DV'd, or raped. Those stats are on the Refuge website. You can look at the WHO, World Health Organization websites, 1 in 3 worldwide. And that what that means is that those rapes will not have occurred while a woman's walking out in the street at night. Yes, some of them will. Definitely some of them will. But they're very, very, that figure is low in comparison to what happens in a familial situation. And so if you look at your friends around you and you're a man and you look at your friends, 1 in 4 of them is possibly a perpetrator. And that's something that you should maybe have a think about. And when you see that kind of behavior happening to, you know, it often happens in a pub. You know, I worked in a pub and we had what we call the twat table. It was a group of blokes that came in every week. They were blue collar workers, lovely guys when they were sober, absolute twats when they were drunk. And, you know, once they got talking about politics, my God. But you get a group of men like that, and they do tend to be sort of egging each other on in a misogynistic way. When I started working there, I was fresh from South Africa, so my accent was still sort of very South African. And yeah, they nominated one guy to come over and ask me where I was from. And, you know, it was this thing and what have you. And they would make comments at women and the way they were dressed and, you know, what they would do. It was just, and that is misogyny. And they will do it like, oh, look at the skirt she's wearing. Oh, I'd give her one. And men generally do egg each other on. Whereas they should be saying, oi, what are you saying? What if that was your daughter? What if that was your mother? Would you still speak like that? And that's something that I've noticed as well in comments on various sites that I belong to and groups that I belong to, where the men will come on and say things like that, but what was she wearing and so on. And some men, and it's so awesome when we see it, some men will come on and say, you know, I support you and this needs to stop and so on and so on. And it's like, yes, you know, we need more men to do things like that. I must admit, I had never heard of it until watching YouTube, people talking about it, especially tans. Yeah. Unfortunately, they are, apart from controlling behavior, there are no specific domestic abuse offences. They are the twat table. Yeah, who's popping? I know. They do behave like animals. I mean, you know, women can too. I'm not saying that, you know, women can't act like that, but I do think when I look at the younger generations now, that women have changed and are acting completely different to how we would act. I'm Gen X. I see a change in millennials. I see a change in Gen Zs, and Gen Alphas are still coming up. So, you know, we don't know what's going to happen there. Jacket, I've been SA'd about 5 times, most of it before I came out as trans. One happened when I was trading at a Christmas market. was wearing a kilt at the time. Bloody hell, Dracker. I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I'm so, so sorry that that happened to you. Hi, Van Man. I talked a little bit about the Louis Theroux documentary because I've basically advised people to go and have a watch of it because a lot of people don't know about the manosphere. But Dracker, I just want to say that that's absolutely awful. And if you ever want to talk about it, you know where I am. Yeah, if anybody does want to drop me an email, you can email me at thewitchygoth@gmail.com or .co. I can't remember. It's my email address is on my description on my channel. Most of it happened while on security duty. Bloody hell. My empathy is keeping me docile now and placid. I'm not sure what you mean, Trip, but hello, Trip. Thanks for joining. I think we have to have empathy with all women who have experienced trans women as well, and men who've experienced this kind of abuse. As I say, I know it happens to men, but I stick up for women. I can't do everything. You know, I can't do everything. Yeah, Van Man. I did talk about Louis Theroux just briefly because I actually watch a lot of those guys anyway. Fresh and Fit, Myron Gaines, HS Tiki-Toki, what a dickhead. Sneeko, although Sneeko's lost a bit of credibility lately because there was when Tate was in Miami, because they were having the fight with him and Chase Damore, and he lost, which was so funny. Not Chase Damore, Andrew Tate lost, and so they were all in a car, and while they were in a nightclub, one of them requested the HH song, the Nazi song about Hitler, and they couldn't decide who'd actually asked for the song to be played. But when it was played, they were all getting on with it. Yeah, so Andrew Tate refused to be interviewed on that, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all because, you know, Louis Theroux does such a good job on that documentary. So please go and watch it if you get a chance. It really is worth the watch. And looking at what was funny with HS Tiki-Toki, and I did say it earlier on, Van Man, was that his mum told him off. And they filmed it and put it in. Oh, it's so funny. So funny. And towards the end of the time that Louis Theroux was filming with the crew, HS Tiki-Toki was getting really aggro with him. Really, really aggro. And sort of making fun and sort of using a lot of anti-Semitic language. So it was, you know, there was a lot of bullying going on. Bye, Kirsty. Enjoy your weekend. See you soon. Take care. Van Man Talks, I would like a little chat with you regarding your Why Don't the Left Talk About It video, which was rage baiting to the extreme. You managed to escape both times on Reagan's roundtable. Okay, I don't know what that is referring to, but yeah. But if you do want to have a follow of Van Man Talks, he's got a great channel. He does talk about a lot of interesting stuff. So I don't know if Chris or Elle could put up a link to his channel there. Potato Head Tate, absolutely. It's like tribal politics. The manosphere cult followers will do anything to discredit Louis saying he was Jimmy Savile's mate and stuff. Yeah, I know. It is, but that's what they do. It's like So this is where I'm coming to what I do want to finish off with on the last half hour, actually. I'm going to have to do the other thing that I wanted to do on another stream at some stage. I get asked a lot, because I talk about the rape of women and the abuse that women suffer. Why don't I cover the grooming gangs? I would like to, but I know that I would get a huge amount of flack for it. I also want to make sure that when I do cover it, that it is within the legal spheres, because there are still cases ongoing at the moment. It's like when I talk about Andrew Tate, there are many, many cases against him for sex trafficking, for rape, for various other things. And yes, who's popping? I know that. That's what I'm coming to in a minute. So, you know, talking about people like Russell Brand and all the other Epstein. Well, Epstein's gone now, so, you know, but there is so much in that area. Like I did cover Giselle Pellicot, and I did talk about the 70,000 men that were on a Telegram group that were teaching each other how to rape. Thank you, Elle, for popping that up. Okay, so Larry, I'm gonna step back from that. So, yeah, like I've said before, let's keep the chat congenial, and anything else can be said in private. Okay. H Bomber Guy did a good video on that some years ago. He dismantled the figures very effectively. I find it fascinating that the ones that talk about the grooming gangs have nothing to say about the white gang from Manchester that was in court a year or so ago. Yeah, I want to do a deep dive into the grooming gangs, and it's something that's going to take me a while, because I want to make sure that the information that I give is fair and impartial on both sides. I am aware that there are more, or have been more, white grooming gangs than Asian grooming gangs. All of them are disgusting. All of them are disgusting, and it needs to stop. It's coercive control. It is for the young girls that get caught up in this. It is a lack of education, but also a lack of parental control over them. These girls often come from broken homes, you know, parents who are not looking after their children in the way that they should be, and it's awful to see. I've watched the documentaries, and I mean, Natalie Fleet, the MP for Bolsover, who is actually my MP, was in a grooming gang. Well, she was groomed. You know, Charlotte Nichols talked about her experience of rape in Parliament this week. These things happen, they occur, and it's awful. It is awful. But then we also have to look at the church, both the Catholic and the Church of England church, and the rape of all the young boys that happened there. Yes, there was Jimmy Savile. I think there have been, you know, loads of documentaries on Jimmy Savile, and it just terrifies me, because what the fuck? Sorry, I've just seen your council tax bill. Bloody hell. Are you in a reform area, Chris C? What council is what council area are you in? Is it a reform council? That's awful. Oh, the postie called. Okay, got count up, and then you've opened it and you're just going to have a shit afternoon. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to have a look at the question, Witchy. How do I make my 19-year-old son watch the Louis Theroux doc? I like to think I have done a good job bringing him up, but he knows all these men in the documentary and it's scary. Yeah. My nephew, luckily, my sister and brother-in-law, have brought up my niece and nephew in a wonderful way. There's nothing wrong with them going to gym. There's nothing wrong with them wanting to do better for themselves. I don't know if you guys have heard of clavicular and lux maxing. And then there is gooners. Okay, we're not talking about Arsenal. We're talking about men who set up like a sort of man cave that is something that they use for spicy videos that they watch for hours on end. They don't have girlfriends. They just watch this stuff for hours and hours and hours on end. There are also a group of men who, these are all incels. That's involuntary celibate men, and it's all out there. It is all out there. What's his name? Cameron something is a Newcastle lad, is absolutely brilliant. He does videos, and I watched one this morning about incel culture, and it's really funny. Staffordshire Council have increased their part of the bill by 3.9% compared to Borough Council. Bloody hell. The Three Girls drama with Maxine Peake. Yeah, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. I saw that as well. Giving the Clockwork Orange cinema treatment with the documentary. Yeah. I think that just council tax is ridiculous. I think that I think that, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, that old cliche. But I think that when we look at young lads today, COVID and the lockdowns played such a part in this, because kids were at home and they were online. And this culture arose during that time. There is evidence to suggest that people who identify as incel may be on the spectrum, which isn't a justification, just an observation. Yeah, I agree, that could be the case. I think there's many cases, many issues around it. But I think getting your son to watch it, maybe a case of saying something like, can you sit down with me and let's watch this together and let's have a serious discussion about this, because I know that you follow these people and they obviously say things which mean something to you, but there's a lot of, coercion in their words. That's a difficult one to answer. It's a really difficult one to answer. I wish I could give you a better answer, Van Man. I really do. Have you tried bribery? Yeah. Could always tie him to a chair. I always said to my dad, years and years ago, I said, one day when you're old and you're in a wheelchair, I'm going to sit you in front of the telly and make you watch Metallica. Cameron seems like such a decent, empathetic young man. He is. He's really, really good at his videos. He really is good. I do enjoy his stuff. I do. I watch quite a lot of it, and he's funny. He is really, really funny, and he's, the way he puts together his stuff is brilliant. Duct tape and a chair. Yeah. I would also suggest maybe doing a little bit of investigation around characters like Sneeko, like these people. I mean, Andrew Tate is such one, you know, there's loads of stuff out there about him, and Gadget's channel. And we did put up a link to Gadget earlier on in the chat. He's Australian. He has fully investigated the Tate. He shows the lies that they've told, the you know, all the untruths. Yeah, Gadget's videos, I highly recommend that you check out his stuff. Tell him that I sent you there, because we do chat quite a bit, because I do a lot of stuff on Andrew Tate and his stuff, his investigation, and when I do the Andrew Tate videos, I do play his stuff as well. He's a good lad, I know. I brought him up right. He is kind of considerate. Yeah. Like I say, there's some stuff that these the manosphere is good at, like getting kids to go to gym. You know, my nephew goes to gym. He really works out. He runs as well, but he's a really lovely lad. He really is. I think it's, you know, it's so difficult with boys and kids having been through that 2 years of being on lockdown. For me, it was brilliant, because I'm, you know, a bit of a recluse as it is. So for me, it was excellent. I enjoyed it. And it was so quiet, and the birds were singing, and there was no traffic. But I think, you know, they lost those 2 years of that social interaction with kids of their own age in their own space, you know, in schools and so on. So it must have been really difficult for them. I'm going to get the two of them, my boys, to sit and watch it with me. Change the Wi-Fi password. Good idea. Social media is parenting now. It is. I saw that somebody, I think Chris mentioned something about VPNs and everything. Yeah, that there's just so much that is, you know, it's so easily accessible now through the internet. It really is. But where do you draw a line? Where do you draw a line? I don't know if it can be drawn. I don't know if it can be drawn. So I didn't actually get to talk about one of the massive things that I wanted to talk about. Oh, thank you for the donation. I do appreciate that, Chris. Thank you very much. I don't have confetti, but thank you. I do really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I really do. It means a lot. How do you suggest people get fit to serve their country without the gym? Yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, I'll come to the second question in a minute, but the first question, how do I suggest people get fit to serve their country without the gym? Okay, well, running is an excellent way of getting fit. I run. I did 5Ks today. I'm not fast, but I'm fit. You know, in the sense that my heart rate when I rest is 48, even though I am still overweight. You can do weight training with resistance bands at home. You can buy free weights at home. And there's loads of videos online where you can look at different exercises to do, like, you know, bicep curls, you know, free weights. So you can do, you know, you can lie on your back and do a bit of bench pressing, you know, pectoral muscles. You can, you know, get a couple of 5-litre bottles of water and use them to lift and, you know, build up from there. Pull-ups, crunches for the abs. Don't forget the back workout as well. You know, you can use a chair and then just sort of working on your triceps and your lats and legs. I would say lunges with those bottles of water. Resistance bands are good. They're really good, and you can use those at home. I bought a set recently, and I have to use the extra strong one because the others are just not strong enough. I but then running, you know. And then doing things like, Mithril's just said, get them working on the farm, you know. That isn't what I mean. Then what do you mean? Be, you know, are you talking about mentally? Are you talking about mentally? Have you heard of Nova Twins, which you've seen them tonight in Brighton? They have quite a lot of feminism in their lyrics, and they are on tour with all female bands. I haven't heard of them. Nova Twins, I shall add that to my list. Are you talking about, is that Q? I can't read. I can't bloody read. QQ241. My 13-year-old best friend Shep is, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. That's absolutely awful. Yeah, let's try to be a bit politer to each other, guys. Please. I did ask at the beginning. Am I psychic? Who's popping? I don't know, but I am. I'm a vet and nothing like the people you say we are. I didn't say anything about vets. Very well versed in fitness. I mean, the manosphere. You mean to stop them watching the manosphere? How old's your kid? I think you said 13-year-old. Then, you know, restrictions on their phones, and teaching them that, you know, that is not the way to treat women. That is not how women should be treated. Women should be respected. Nova Twins, sorry. I think I have heard of them, but yeah, I have not heard them, if you know what I mean. Sorry, I've missed something here. Sorry, just bear with me while I scroll back up. Also, how come I can make distinction between some men but tar everybody else with the same brush? When you say some men, are you talking about, you know, when I say it's all men, but not all men, but it's always a man? Or are you talking about, what are you being specific about there? I just need to know what you want me to, you know, delve into. If it is to do with abusive men, I don't know if you watched the entire stream, but I did talk about the fact that we know that not all men are abusive, but we don't know which ones are. Because we don't wear signs, you know, men don't wear signs that say, I'm a good guy and I'm a bad guy, and every guy will present as a good guy. But when it comes down to it, a lot of those bad behaviors are hidden. They will hide them from other men in their groups. You know, look at psychopaths and how they behave around people, you know. Let's take Trump. Let's have a look at Trump. You know, he is a felon. He's a convicted felon. And yet he is still in power. Now, there's a big reason for that. And I did want to talk about that in the second half of the live stream today. But unfortunately, oh, it's hailing. It's hailing outside. Well, there's a first this year. First hail of the year. So yeah, I think with the manosphere, it's a difficult thing to do, but I think that, you know, it's like when, take care, Van Man, see you soon. See you soon. I don't know, you'll have to ask who's popping. I think that's why I say, let's just, you know, be polite to each other. Chat, civil discord. I could think some focus cross conversations or wrong points. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. So yeah, let's try and keep everything okay. Who's popping? Some jokes might not be, you know, in good taste. I think you're an army vet. An army vet, okay. An army veteran. Right. Okay. So I'm guessing you've right. Sorry. Okay. So it's all been confused. Right. Okay. So were you in Afghanistan? Did you fight out there? That must have been awful to see. I just thank you for your service. Thank you for what you did. We do need an army. We do. With all of the shit that's going on in the world right now, we do need an army. And I think that, difficult situation, isn't it? Because I lived in South Africa where the lads, when I was at school, got their call-ups, turned 18, went into the army. The only jobs that didn't go into the army were the guys that worked for Eskom and Telkom. That was the electricity and telephone services and services like that. But they went into the army. They did 2 years national service. They saw action because we were at war against Angola and Mozambique, I think. And so there was a lot of patrols going on in the townships. My brother-in-law was actually a lieutenant. And because he got his call-up papers as well. So whether you were English or South African or Afrikaans or what, if you got call-up papers. And yeah. So I think there is that. I think that in one way, I think that the army is good, but in another way, I think it's bad. We shouldn't need an army, should we? We shouldn't have to have wars against other people. I think that it should be that we all, are friendly with each other and that we all, the world should get along. What I do say a lot, though, is if women ruled the world, it would be very different. And a lot of men will come back and say, but look how quickly things would escalate. But that is putting, it's projecting what men will project onto women because they think that women would do that, but we wouldn't. It wouldn't be the same thing. Women wouldn't do that. You went to Northern Ireland. It's the best thing that ever happened to you. Yeah. A lot of bullying. Yeah. Yeah. Hi DB, you're back again. Logan's Manosphere videos are absolutely brilliant. My favorite has to be Sargon of Akkad, where absolutely hilarious. He got fish thrown at him. Okay, I'm adding that to my list here. Kevin Logan. Okay. God, so much to watch. I swear to God, 24/7 watching stuff. I think that being in the army can really help, but I also think that being in the army can sometimes hinder. One of my exes was in the army. He fought up on the border, Palaboa, and against Angola, and he did see action, and also knew some of the guys that went on to do the sort of not special forces, but guys who went on to do paid stuff. And I carried a gun when I lived in South Africa. I did carry a gun. Thank you, Chris C, for that 10-minute warning, because it is very, very important that people pop over to Reagan Elite, his 3-year anniversary show. It's going to be brilliant. And then after that, it's Daily Blase for his Friday Frolics show. So absolutely brilliant channels if you want to watch them. Ren, stay safe, my friend. Enjoy your food. I'm sure I shall see you in some chat at some stage or another. Civil Discord. Yeah, I don't either. I'm in okay. Non-intervention policy. Okay. If women ruled the world, I reckon wars would be replaced by duels or cage fights. I don't know. We would, it would be a completely different world. Stephen King actually wrote a really good book, and I can't bloody think of the name. Sleeping Beauties, about women going on to a world where they created their own world. And yeah, there would be issues, you know, there will always be issues, but I do think that, you know, when we look at the matriarchal societies of the past, of previous generation, you know, when I say the past, I'm talking about thousands of years ago, the world was different. It was very, very different. I mentioned earlier on about the Native American Indian tribe, where the women were actually in charge of the tribe. Yes, they worked with the chiefs, but they actually were in charge. And I'll be doing a video on that in the coming days. So many videos to do. But I do think that being in the army does teach you a sense of discipline. It does teach you a sense of belonging, a sense of pride in the country. But it can also create men who may well go on to become abusive. And of course, then there's PTSD as well, you know, from that. I mean, I was almost the victim of 2 hijackings. Luckily, I did have my weapon with me, so I was able to escape from that. But yeah, it is, you know, PTSD is not a good thing. You know, I can tell the difference when a car backfires to the sound of an actual weapon. Heard many of it. I remember laying in bed one night and hearing and just counting off the shots of somebody emptying a clip. I'm like, okay, that's it, that's empty now. They're going to have to reload. So I think, you know, you in that situation, I did used to watch, what was that program called? Who Dares Wins, the SAS program thing with Ant Middleton, who I actually think is a dickhead, but anyway. So, I mean, I looked at that and I thought, if I was younger, I would have taken part in that, because it was, I did think when I was a kid of actually joining the army, watching Private Benjamin, but I lived in South Africa and I didn't want to fight for South Africa. And I don't even think women were allowed in the army in South Africa anyway at that time. It was still very, very patriarchal. Women were, you know, stay at the home. Guys, I am going to say goodbye. I see we've loads of comments here. Some were a bit broken, yeah. And I think that, you know, when you've seen action like that, I can imagine it must be, you know, a good friend of mine, he was in the army, he fought, and he saw his best mate, you know, being unalived, and he still suffers with CPTSD today, yeah. Getting help from veteran CMHT for CPTSD because of DV against me by the girl I married. Oh God. Oh yeah. Chrissy, I've never seen that. A man buys, a woman makes the salad. That's it. And David, if the woman's not there to make the salad, the man gets upset and forgets that, you know, the work has to be done with the salad. Yeah, that it does happen where and I've mentioned this before, where the woman in a relationship can be the aggressive, coercive narcissist. It does happen. And, you know, I agree that something needs to be done about that. And there are many, many reasons behind why that may well be the case. I mean, I'm studying psychology at the moment, but I specifically focus on women having been abused because it's what I've experienced in my life. It's what I am able to relate to. And yes, I know that not all men are abusive. I know that, and we all do. But those men that aren't abusive need to point out those that are and call them out. And the same with me. If I saw a woman being abusive and aggressive towards a man for no reason, I would definitely call them out. But then again, I'm 6 foot tall. You know, that's a joke. I think that, you know, relationships between people are so delicate and need to be treated with so many different, you know, views and points that we need to look at. So I do think that we have to be aware of other people around us as well. and how they react to what we say. I've helped a lot of women who have been abused. Everybody has a different experience. There's no one right way to help. There isn't. That's why we did put the links to Refuge. There is also Refuge for men. And there are other men's charities that can help with men who have been abused. Generally, what tends to happen is women tend to go to female therapists and so on for their problems, and men tend to go to men's therapists. And the reason being is a lot of women will not be able to trust a man, and a lot of men will not be able to trust a woman. So that needs to be built up. You know, there is private therapy. You do have to pay for it, I know, but it is worth it. There is also a website called betterhelp.com. They do a lot of online stuff. It's all online, so you can choose your therapist that you want to speak to, and you know, you get to choose if it's a man or a woman, what religion they are, you know, what their beliefs are, and if you don't get matched up with the right one, you can match up with somebody else. I'd love to keep talking, but I have to go because Reagan Elite is now starting to live stream his 3-year anniversary. So I don't know how to transfer you all over there, guys. So I'm going to see if I can have a look here. SA Society annoyed me so much sometimes, I know. You can't reassure someone they won't be raped again or burgled again or attacked again. It's one big problem with PTSD. It is. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I will not be here on Sunday. Go treat your mothers, look after them. I will be back on Monday evening for Misogyny Monday. Blessed be everyone. Take care. Bye. Can I swap over to another channel for you guys? I don't know how to do it. I'm going to have to teach myself. Oh, thank you. You've put the link up. Thank you so much, Elle. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, all of my mods in the chat today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend. Blessed be, guys. Mwah.